Hey, welcome to the MMO Ronin channel. If you like MMOs and you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and the like button. If you don't like the channel at all as it progresses, you're going to subscribe at any time and you want to. It really helps the channel out as I'm trying to grow to this 1,000 subscribers. In this video, I'm talking about Elyon, and I'm talking about the things that I didn't like and the things I did like about the game. And I'll try to have some kind of order going on to it, but I can't keep any promises on that. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I was able to get a key for the first closed beta test of Elyon through their live stream, and I got to about level 36 before it ended. In the beta, we got access to 5 classes, but knowing that there was going to be a wipe, I just stuck with the Warlord class, which would be the tank class out of the 5 we had. In the next closed beta, they're supposed to be adding the Slayer class, which isn't on the website without looking at the Korean version. And everybody seems to be excited about it though, so I look forward to hopefully getting into closed beta test 2 and seeing what that's all about. I think the experience gain was altered for the beta because the next thing I know, it did like the little intro opening thing, and then I got to like the main world part and I was like level 21 already. I don't even know how that happened. And it did seem to slow down a bit like once I got into like the 30s, but it didn't become a grind at 35 like normal Korean games do. As soon as you hit 35, you're just killing mobs and doing dungeons over it again until you level up and until like a quest or something pops up. But this one you had like repeatable quests and dailies and other like AFK type things you can do to level up, which is it's all right. So you still have things to do to kind of keep yourself leveling up. There's world events, things to keep you busy. So let's talk about some of the things that I liked. I thought the graphics looked pretty good. I'm using a 970 GTX. I was hoping to be able to get a graphics card this year, but yeah. And if this video renders the way I intended to, with everything looking crisp, the gameplay footage you see should be a good representation of what I experienced. I really enjoyed the combat and how the impact of the hits sounded and the reaction enemies had to your skills. It made it feel like you were really putting in some work. Something about sending enemies flying when you smash them with your giant hammer, which is what the Warlord uses, it just adds another level of joy that most MMOs don't accomplish due to the style of combat that it has. There's a good bit of variety that you can make as far as skills go per class, since you're allotted so many skill slots, and you get way more skills as you level up. So you can actually have a unique playstyle, but if you didn't want to go through all that, they give you some templates that you can use depending on what activity you were doing. So if you had like a PvP, they had some PvP suggestions, PvE suggestions, dungeon suggestions, stuff like that you can just kind of click on and then search your bars based on what they say you should use, and actually gives you tips on how you should use those skills in battle. The character creation is pretty good, but knowing that there would be a wipe, I didn't spend too much time on it. Those who like to tweak every little bit should be satisfied, as the variety of color combinations for everything allowed you to make your character stand out. I don't think I noticed the ability to make your eyes asymmetrical though, like have one eye blue and the other eye green, but that's okay. That's just kind of like a personal taste for me personally. There are 2 types of treasure hunts that you can take part in. One is a world map location, like WoW or Final Fantasy, how you just kind of go to a location on the map and hit your pickaxe and a treasure chest pops up. The other one is like a magical steampunk door that opens up that takes you to this like world, this room, and it could be various different activities you have to do. Like one time there was a dragon sleeping in the middle of the room with chests surrounding it, and there's like patrols that you had to kind of sneak around to open the chest up, and you had to open 15 chests, I believe, before the time ran out. Might have been 10 before the time ran out, or got caught. And then there's another one where there's like 3 rolls of coins, and you had to get all the coins before the time ran out. There's like boulders coming at you and ice balls being shot at you to slow you down. You had to grab all the coins to open up the room to get the chest in there. So they're pretty cool, pretty unique. First time I've ever experienced anything like that in an MMO. And the rewards are pretty good actually, like some good rare rewards. Some of the mounts, they do like a limited mount thing, which I don't like. The limited mounts, but you can get mounts in there that aren't limited, and some of the mounts aren't even like mounts, they're just like toys, I guess. It's like there's like a couple of chairs you can get that you just sit on, and the chairs kind of have effects. Like there's one chair that helps your HP regain faster, but they don't move, they're just chairs. They call them mounts, so that's kind of because you sit on them. It's kind of weird. So there are these world event missions that pop up that you can queue in for, and that takes you to a new area to fight a specific boss battle, or it could be a fishing tournament. The setup for it is pretty cool. It fills up pretty fast, but the game works on the channel system, so you can just change channels and join that way. I don't know if you ever played like other MMOs where they're like you're on channel 1, you can hit channel 2, and it kind of like if the world is like not as full on channel 2. I think Guild Wars does this. Guild Wars 2, like if the world is too full, they'll move you to another channel that's not as full, and they'll give you some bonus XP if you decide to go over there. It doesn't automatically move you to another channel that I've seen, but you can go to another channel if you need to jump into one of these events. And so everybody gets something when you complete the challenge in the world events. It depends on what you do. So like if you did the most damage or you did the most healing, then you're gonna get a top tier prize. Like they rank it on medals. In the regular game world, there are these bosses that are in like a suspended animation, and you need this item called the breath of whatever the boss's name is to unfreeze it and defeat it. Now these monsters are like world bosses, and you need like a large group of people to take on these bosses. You can still get the breath of whatever and unlock the boss and not fight it, you know, and just tell people in world chat that the boss is open if anybody wants to come help fight it. But it is a pretty cool thing, another way to bring the community together, and the rewards are kind of random. I think they tell you what the rewards are when you get there and what they expect your kind of gear score to be at to be able to really do some damage to this boss and get rewards. I did do a couple of the one-person dungeons that they had in there, and they were all right. It's pretty much tank and spank since I was a tank, but there were some decent mechanics to have to pay attention to, and boss phases. I don't like that you don't really get to see the gear that you get. You get a chest with a random piece of loot, and you can open it inside the dungeon or outside of the dungeon, but there's not like a huge ta-da for completing it. It's just like, well, I guess we did the dungeon. Also, there's a DPS meter that pops up automatically when you're on a boss fight. You can turn it off, but it's just part of the game. You don't have to worry about downloading an add-on or anything like that. I wasn't really at a spot, gear-wise or level-wise, that could keep up and compete with people in PvP, but I did kind of mess around with it anyway. So even though I did mess around with it and was lower geared and lower level, I still had a lot of fun. It was pretty chaotic. I couldn't really see what was going on. There were like giant razor blades flying everywhere and magic being shot everywhere, and it was pretty crazy. Assassins seemed to be a little bit OP. It could have just been my gear, I don't know, but I felt like hitting them did nothing at all. I couldn't stun them, I couldn't knock them down. They just darted all over the place. A cool feature that the game has though is that you can pursue a target that killed you for a fee. I believe it teleports you to the location of the person that killed you, so you can get revenge or a rematch. I tried to teleport to some people, but they were offline. But it did pop up like teleport isn't available because they were offline, so I wouldn't be able to teleport to them. But it was like it was like 50,000 gold. I got my butt handed to me a few times by a member of the MMO Bite Guild named Rain before I realized that they were 5 levels higher than me and probably a lot better geared. So Rain, you kicked my butt if you end up watching this video. Oh, and I really like the intro screen when you log in and that animation and music plays, and then you hit the button to go into the game and it zooms in. That is pretty cool. Really feels like you're about to jump into something amazing. And with all that, I guess we could jump into what I really didn't like about Elyon. Starting off with the English voice acting.
You can't grow complacent just because you have a fortress. If you develop the wrong benefits and the strength of your allies suffers, no one will purchase fortress research from you.
It was pretty bad. It was so bad. I think Amazon's Alexa could do a better job at reading the script for this game. It was so bad. And then it only read the first line of whatever the text dialogue was. Maybe they knew it was bad and just wanted to be like, hey, there's going to be voiceovers, and kind of give you a taste of it, because the UI was so small and there was like no way that I could find to change the size of the text, which also leads to no accessibility features that I could notice. The quest text on the screen in this test was barely visible, and it made me feel old. Like, come on, I know my eyes aren't that bad. Like, it was small. The actual bars where my skills weren't that bad, but like when I was trying to read the quest and what I had to do next, it was like I'm squinting at the screen. There are a lot of systems going on in the game, so it can feel a bit overwhelming when you have to combine gems, but also log your gems in this book, but also put a certain number of gems at a certain level in your gear so you can unlock a special passive to use them. Then there are these gems that enhance your gear, but you can combine those gems to make better gems. Then you combine it with the bad dialogue trying to explain how it all works. And someone will most likely just say, I'll figure that out later. There's really a lot to really get into. And that's not even to mention like the housing and the pet system they got going on and all this other stuff. There's a lot of systems in this game. This is kind of like a good, there's a lot of different items for cosmetics, but the bad is that you can't view the different items that are available for cosmetics. Like you can't, there's not like a preview screen. So if you wanted to get like, wonder what this weird hat was or what are these glowy balls are supposed to be, you can't see them. You just kind of have to spend the money and get them. I think that with the cosmetic shop, they hopefully have a screen showing you what it looks like. They didn't have the shop available in the beta. So I don't know, maybe in closed beta 2, it might be in there. I know they said they were working on it, but I thought it would be in this beta so we can kind of see, but it wasn't. But the cosmetics that were attached to the vendors in game or through the trading post, if you can buy it there, you're not gonna be able to see what it is. And that's not good because you're just gonna spend your money. I guess you could resell it and try to get some money back, but a lot of those times, a lot of the ones I saw, they were just account bound type things and you weren't able to sell it on the trading post or anything. And it could have just been because that was the beta and they set it up that way. Overall though, and it's probably because it was a new fresh experience, I had fun playing the game and exploring the world that I was able to in the time that I had to play it. The MMO community is hungry though, so I can see people burning through the content in about a month before they are bored, complaining about nothing to do. But for a buy-to-play title that isn't too bad, it's just as an MMO there is a never-ending thirst for adventure that needs to be constantly satiated. Did you guys get to play in the Elyon beta? What were your thoughts? Were you one of the people that beat me down? Let me know in the comments and I'll see you guys in the next video.